let's just go straight into it. I'm
Yeah.
Nico,
Let's do it.
CEO of OX.FUN. I've got a pretty awesome guest here, a good friend of mine, Hunda. He's done some pretty heinous things on chain and maybe even off chain, who knows. But yeah, glad to have him here. We'll talk about like some of his story and you know, hopefully people can learn some things from it. How you doing, Hunda?
All good, man. Doing well. Nice to hear you
Awesome.
again, actually.
Yeah, good to speak again, bro. Let's just start off with how you got into crypto.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe I can give you like a little bit of the life story here, or of my like entrepreneurial whatever stuff I did in the past. So I think it all started back in high school when I used to have a Web2 company. We were selling like iPhones, MacBooks, and shit. Then I had a partner back then. He kind of racked me. So I do have some like Web2 business experience. We had a pretty good run because we were like, for a month or so, we were selling the most iPhones in Poland, and I was like 18 back then. But then like he lost most of the money on Binance futures or whatever of the company money. So it was also like interesting part of the story. In the meantime, I think I found out some Polish YouTuber who was just like recording something about crypto. I learned about DeFi, I learned about Uniswap, and I think I did like one swap or something. And then in 2020, I received like 3K USD for it. And I was like, holy shit, it was a lot of money for me back then. And I was like, wait. If this industry is giving away 3K for just doing like a fucking click on your computer, this is probably the place to be in. And that's where it like started for real, you know. So I think this was the moment I was like, okay, let's go down this rabbit hole. So it's been 5 years now. I think I went pretty, I would say, standard journey of a crypto investor. So like you start spending time on crypto Twitter. First you read, you know, the most obvious ones, like the highest follower accounts. You're just learning stuff. You don't even know what you're doing. You just like take your credit cards and invest whatever you can in some weird alts they show you, or QLs show you. I think like one thing was different. I was very early to DeFi, so even when I was starting my journey, I was already like amazed by what you can do with your own wallet instead of like just trading on Binance or whatever. And long story short, I think last bull market, I ran it up quite well, and then like the standard playbook where you just lose it all in your first cycle. So I literally lost probably like 95% or even more of my money back then. But I had like after I've seen I can make it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it back for sure. And I had like infinite conviction in the space as well, because it gives you just so many opportunities along the way. So then bear market 22, I also started working at Redstone. I met our founder, which was also kind of cool, because even when I was just trading and had quite some money, I still wanted to work in crypto, to do something, you know, that maybe makes more sense than just like trading shitters on chain or just making money. So it was also kind of cool to join like really good startup, and the one that is like that has potential to grow and to be here for a lot more years to come. Yeah, and then like for this cycle, I think you just chatted with Dirtail, so you maybe kind of heard the story, but early this year, I took a bank loan. I think it was like 30K or something. And long story short, I ran it up to like 8 figs. So it's been around. It's been around this cycle.
Yeah, no, it's pretty badass. Have you paid back the loan yet?
No. I'm paying the monthly fee, and it's obviously like I have more in cash than the loan, obviously. So it's more of like just not operational. I didn't do it from the operational standpoint, but it's obviously covered.
So that 30K you can effectively consider like your initial, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it was all calculated in a way like I'm gonna take a loan and monthly fee is minus like all my living expenses, so like flat or whatever, and I'm gonna be at fucking zero. So yeah.
And then what was the majority of the kind of like journey from that initial 30K to 8 figs?
Yeah, so it obviously it's been a lot of things, right? I think I did it around the same time we also set up the liquid portfolio in Vistula. So it were similar things that I got to catch because I'm for context I'm playing pretty much the same book on both of these accounts, and from like the things I mostly made money on the things that I was just super early on to other stuff that was like from like just rolling the bankroll constantly. So for sure I made like first bucks on Pandora, I think it was ERC 404.
Pandora,
It was
yeah.
really funny. Yeah, it was like really good run. And that was like first money I made. I somehow sold the top there, so it was also like good timing. Then we obviously went to Retardio. That's I think like the thing I told most people about because I was buying it at literally 400K or like above 1% of supply. It was just I just kept buying it at 400K and it went up to I think 300 mil. So it was like literal almost 1000x. Then the other high conviction bet for me, I think it was gold. Also got to catch this one at 20 mil. In the meantime, I was together with Dirtail, I was farming hyperliquid. I think this was like one of the trades where it required, I think, the most like vision because like gold or Retardius was just buying early and like being constantly online. Meanwhile, hyperliquid was a bet that lasted for a year. I was farming it for a whole year. Like first I was farming it on perps, it wasn't that effective. Then I literally hired people. I mean, that is my friend and my sister, but still. And they were farming hyperliquid for me in the spot season, just earning shit ton of points doing spot volume there. So then there was hyperliquid, and finally I think Fartcoin was like super high conviction bet, and like it's the one I still hold and I still have high conviction in it.
What did you manage to get into Fartcoin at?
So it's weird because the first time I got in, it was like at 30 mil, but then I fully exited. So I didn't hold it the whole way up. And then I re-entered with a lot at 200. So,
Very
but my
nice.
style is I'm very like an ape guy. So I'm very, how to say that? Basically, when I see the bubbles forming, like when I see something is going up, I just buy more of it. And for Fartcoin, it was at 200, I bought it. It was at 300, I bought it, and I keep on buying until I feel like it's the end or until I find something more interesting. So like the last buys were probably even at 90 cents, and I didn't bother, just adding to it.
And were you able to take profits on stuff like Retardio and some of these other things?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm very good at finding things early. I'm not the best at taking profits. So for Retardio, I think it was a special one in my heart. So I didn't really take profits at the top, but still I think I exited around 150 or something like that. Harsh to say it. I'll probably buy back one day. But usually it works the way I just hold something until I find something more interesting. And this plays out well in the bull market because you can just roll the bankroll to infinity. And it doesn't work at all in bear market because in bear market, if you move just asset to asset, you're just selling like your one shitcoin to other shitcoin, and every single time of them statistically is going down. So like for example, for this bull market to protect myself from losing it all again, I for example have a rule that whatever I cash to stables, I just leave in stables till the end of the cycle.
What percentage stables would you say you are right now?
I'm probably at 15, which is super low.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty low.
I should be at much more. Yeah. Vistula is at 40, I think. Yeah, but it's like maybe I guess we'll talk about this later. But I think we're at the literal end of the cycle right now, like final innings. That's what I'm feeling. But it's also like I'm betting on the last leg of Parabola. So, it's obviously like we're very close to the top. Fucking president of United States launching his meme and all the things that are happening around it. It looks so toppy. But then I'm just aware like, can Fartcoin go to $5 in the next 2 weeks? Hell yeah, it can. It even looks like it could. Can hype go to 50 in the next month? Yeah, absolutely.
You're saying you think that Filecoin can go to potentially 5 in the next couple of weeks, Hyperliquid potentially to 50 in the next month or two.
Yeah, and I was just saying that the risk return is there, So I'm like, I'm set for life anyway with 15%. So I'm just playing the market and how I feel. But I think like we're at the stage right now where the best traders I know are either on one side of the spectrum saying it's the end, and the others are it's the beginning. So it feels like a coin flip to me. I don't have an opinion. I think it's the beginning of the end, and I just want to milk it. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I just feel we have some gas left.
Yeah, a lot of smart people I know are thinking that kind of we're in that last stretch. Personally, I still think that we'll have the best part of this year to go, whether that be because we chop a little bit or we pull back or whatever. I just think like in terms of like traditional cycles and timings around tops and bottoms of the market, I think that we still have until maybe like, the second half of the year or something like that until we really see like blow off tops and can really call it a day. But I'd be interested to know what are your targets? Obviously, like now you've just hit like 8 figs, right? What are your targets from now to when you take profits? And how do you think you're going to take profits? And do you think you'll try to play the market going down in any interesting way, potentially shorting anything or anything of that nature?
I have one interesting thing in mind. I obviously not gonna short anything on left unless I feel like it's some altcoin that has to go down or whatever. But I usually try not to short. Last time I did, it was on I think on Sunday. I shorted Trump coin on Melania announcement, and it played out fucking badly for me. So won't be doing that anymore. But I think if you feel like we're close to top on BTC time wise, so for example, I assume for this bull market it will be like March this year. I would probably buy puts on MicroStrategy because I feel like MicroStrategy has a lot of premium compared to BTC they hold. So buying puts, if you feel like the top is in March, buying puts for, I don't know, July or end of the year, could be the play potentially, or at least the way to hedge. Because like at some point in time, my assumption is at some point the premium has to go down because why the fuck should MicroStrategy be worth, I don't know what's the premium right now, but let's say 50% more than the Bitcoin they hold. It just doesn't make sense. Back then it was like a bet on Bitcoin when we didn't have the ETF. But right now I don't know. I just don't fully understand it. So
Plus
maybe like short.
also, plus also the MicroStrategy stock went up like I think over 400% this year. It might even be 500% now. I haven't checked the price recently. Compared to like Bitcoin going up like, less than even MicroStrategy did.
Yeah, and it's simple. What they do, they just buy Bitcoin. Like whatever they make in the company doesn't really matter at all. So it's really weird that it goes up. But maybe it's just something like to play out. But I wouldn't play it with leverage because 100% move is easy there. But puts like with very wise timing could be a play. But I haven't like done any plan for it yet or whatever. It's also TradFi, so you have to have cash in your TradFi account, different pool, and but maybe the play. When it comes to targets, I don't know. I'm genuinely tired already. I don't have any targets for BTC if itself. So I'm not gonna say like, hey, BTC should go at least to 200K this cycle or whatever. I just saw the GCR tweet that it should flip gold, which makes sense in the long run. We're probably not gonna see as rough bear market, at least for BTC, as in the last years, and I think all traders collectively agree on that. So I don't know. I just don't see it going back. I don't know, to 30K right now. So it
Yeah,
might
and
be a good.
you definitely gotta be careful with leverage, right? Like I mean, I remember you like use some like Retardio as collateral even on like Ox and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember when we got closer together. It was when I lost like 1 million retarded on Ox. But I'm retarded, man. When I was depositing it to Ox to get the API rewards, and the plan was I'm not trading with it, and then like, okay, just a little bit, just one trade. Yeah, I remember it.
Did you
Anyway,
trade much on when you were farming the hyperliquid points? I know that for example, Dirtail and many other people maybe didn't focus quite so much on actually taking on much risk when it came to trading, but really just focusing on volume. When spot coins came out, that's a bit of a different story because you're actually holding these spot tokens and therefore like, you can't hedge the flow quite so well and also like naturally you're taking on more risk because you want to trade these like new tokens. Did you trade much perps when you're doing points or are you just focusing on volume?
basically, I switched from perps trading on NEWUSER, moved it all to hyperliquid because I knew the incentive is there. I'm not the best in perps trading. I think maybe I'm on a small plus on the balance overall, but most of the money comes from on-chain stuff, from being early to on-chain stuff, and I'm well aware of that. But on hyperliquid, it felt like, hey, I can trade and just make points in the meantime. But that was for season one, and I think what people really missed is season two, because season one, like a lot of people were farming it and trading perps there. You could just buy a lot of spot coins. You obviously had to have some directional exposure there, but like having exposure to Poor or to OX.FUN, it felt like a no-brainer, and I wanted them anyway. Um, and I think a lot of people, what a lot of people missed was doing volume on those spot coins. So I literally like had people do wash volume on these spot coins, doing like 300K volume weekly, which was super hard because it wasn't that liquid back then, and you had to do it with limit orders instead of just market buying and selling, in order for it to be like not to cost too much and not to be marked as a symbol or whatever. I'm still surprised it didn't mark me as a symbol on any of my wallets, but it somehow didn't happen. Maybe it was just a mix of organic plays I did and the actual farming, because it was like, I think it was 7 or 8 different wallets. The biggest ones had like maybe 100, 200K in them. The smallest one had just like 10 or 20K USD. And maybe it was just a mix of the fact that I was actually just buying some spot shitcoins on these wallets as well from time to time, and like making money or losing money on them. But somehow none of these wallets got marked as Sybil, and they just earned shit ton of points, right? I had weeks where I got like 5 or even more K points.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I mean, especially considering like at the top points were like what, $150 per point, something like that. I'm sure you maybe took some profits on hype, but like I'm sure you're also generally holding most of it for, at least the foreseeable future. What's your current strategy around Hyperliquid right now? Maybe anything you're looking into, any plans for when Hype EVM launches?
I think the standard answer here is I'm holding most of it. I'm waiting for Hype EVM to go live. Most of the liquidity on Hype EVM is gonna be paired to Hype. They proved to be the best perp DEX exchange out there, and that is proven on every level. There is no second best. They haven't proved almost anything on EVM side of things. And that's my take. So there is still a long way to go. I do think like they are gonna obviously get tons of traction because of the community. It's big, it's strong, it's cult-like, and all of them have money. So so it's hard not to be bullish. But I'm very curious also to see how the Hype EVM plays out. I'm not in the camp, hey, it's obviously gonna go super well, because I'm not sure. I do hold Hype. I almost take it all right now. I think what we're gonna see is like airdrop to stakers, additional rewards. Maybe as Hype EVM goes closer, I think we're gonna see a pump on ecosystem coins. But it's also like, to be honest, when I was farming points, it wasn't consensus at all. And like I thought, all right, we're gonna get at least $10 per point, realistically 20 to 30, because it's this good. And it was like super optimistic approach. So right now, when we're at like $150 per point, to be fully transparent, I'm usually delusional, but even I didn't think we're gonna be that high. So it's like, it's so many things aligned here in the Hyperliquid trade, or I don't know if you can even call that trade if you were farming, but the fact that Trump won, the fact that so much clarity on the legal side of things, and the general shift towards crypto happened, because like one of the biggest potential problems for Hyperliquid could be issues with SEC or whatever, with a regulator.
You were saying people thought that like at the start, like Hyperliquid farming was like just volume and stuff, or
Yeah, so I was just saying, the people are saying about Hyperliquid airdrop, but it's also like a trade, right? Because the airdrop was at below $3. So it wasn't, maybe it was a lot, but it wasn't that much, right? And then the whole trade from $3 to 30, it was just, you could just buy it on the market and hold it, right? Instead of just farming. So what I did was I had money set off because I also have a bot set up and I tried to snipe high plunge. I didn't snipe it, but I used all the money to just buy hype below 3. And that's the only
Yeah.
part I sold up to date. So I still hold all my airdrop and only sold the part that I bought it below $3.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I know who even, big guys who got, a lot of the airdrop, and also the types of guys that usually have very high conviction in these things, who sold at like $7 to $10, something like that.
Yeah.
Are you still, did you sell all of your GOAT? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
I
nice.
obviously didn't sell the top, but it's usually I'm playing directions, so I almost never sell the top. But if I see the trend going back down, I just get the fuck out. So on gold, I think I sold last package at 0.6 or 0.7.
Yeah, very nice. How does your trading and sizing stuff change as your port has got bigger? And maybe even more so now that you've got this like 8-figure portfolio now. I mean, I would get the impression that you're pretty well convicted into your main bags now. You're not really looking to do anything super crazy, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about this.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing. So I had a rule for this bull market where I don't hold more than 5 positions at a time. Right now, I'm literally like 40% hyperliquid, 40% fartcoin.
That's a
And
crazy
maybe,
mix, crazy barbell.
yeah. I even tweeted it like last month. All full port 50-50 hype and fartcoin. I called it barber strategy. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I just try to find super high conviction plays and hold on to them. And I try not to hold more than 5 positions at the time. So from the ones where I got any size, it's probably like 3 or 4 positions, literally, apart from stable coins. And I think what you have to understand once you pass the certain threshold is like, for me, and you really have to like change your mind in the ways you're thinking, because I haven't like upgraded my lifestyle or anything. I literally just live for my paycheck and don't do much stuff with money these days. You have to really understand that you're in literally different bucket of like taking risks, and you have to completely change your sizing on trades. So right now, it absolutely doesn't make sense to buy anything with less than, let's say, 50K, because even if you like make 10x on it, it's still like it obviously can change something, but it's not enough percentage like portfolio wise, and it probably doesn't make sense. So what I'm doing is I only try to be in the trades where I can just buy at least 100K or something. And be like, okay, this is something where I can scale this up and have at least that conviction. And mostly, I don't do much, to be honest. I just hold. I think we're at the final innings of the bull market. So what I'm doing is I'm just selling part to stables, part to other assets. Mostly hold the high conviction trades. And I really feel like I wanna finally cash out soon and maybe take vacations or whatever. Yeah, from the big things, just I need to finish the Redstone launch. I really want for it to go well, and then just chill a little, live some life.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've done well enough now that like trying to play this market perfectly and like timing the top is going to be next to impossible, and there's going to be so many curveballs that try to mess you up. And so I think that with your size now, you're better off just taking like the majority at some good levels and just like accepting that a 30K bank loan to 8 figures in 1 year is about as good as it's going to get, and you're probably in the 1% of the 1% of most guys this cycle. So well done for that. It'd be awesome to hear your Solana phone story.
Yeah. So Dirty probably told you, or no, I told you in Taipei.
You told me a while back, yeah.
Yeah, basically last company Christmas, the Solana phone was like, hey, you can buy the Saga phone with $600 in it, which was pretty much the value of the phone. So at company Christmas, like 10 of us on Redstone dinner, we ordered Solana phones, all of us. And what I did, I just TLDR, I ran it up from $600 to probably 1.3 mil right now. So yeah, that's the insane run I did there. But it was just
Mainly on
super high.
cardio and a couple other things, right?
Yeah,
You
it was
basically
just
flipped your bonk airdrop into a couple things.
I sold it's simple way. I sold the bonk into Retardio into Goat into Fartcoin, and that was it. 3 trades, I think.
6 clicks. That's it. That's all it took. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell.
Yeah, it's I obviously did a lot of stupid shit in the meantime. It never works, just 3 clicks. But essentially, yes, you could with those 3 trades, you could run up $600 to 1 mil.
Hell yeah. Anything you want to say about Redstone or anything else you're working on right now?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, Redstone is surprisingly big part of my life as well. So I work there since I just like the company. But I also feel like working in crypto is helping in your trading as well. And what I mean by that is I always have something to do, right? Also on the like I always have some backlog of duties or whatever that I can pick. So whenever I wake up and there's nothing to do on the market, I can just do stuff for Redstone. And it's helpful because instead of over trading, you can do some actual valuable stuff when you don't feel the market is right. I know that some traders just play games or whatever. For me, like working on a startup or something cool is my way to kill time. And when it comes to Redstone, well, that's another like funny story because I joined like 2022. I was 8 person back then. We literally had, no usage, no one used us. There was just a quality tech built by our founder, but nothing more. The Oracle space is obviously very high entry, barrier entry. So, you know, um, if Oracle fucks up, the protocol is dead. So no one wants to switch to new Oracle provider. And in the span of last 2.5 years after I joined, we went from absolute zero to, securing 6 billion TVL and working with, protocols like Pendle, Morpho, Venus, the biggest players in the industry using our price feeds. So that's also like super I would say it's rewarding on like mental level as well, where you just see the company grow, the company build something cool and something that can stay here for longer. And Redstone is gearing for its TG as well, so I'll probably have a lot of stuff to do again. I think we're launching Q1 this year, so very very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Hundert's alpha on Redstone as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have some perspective when you're actually building a real thing, right? Like even myself with Ox, I'm in a very lucky position because part of my job is really being like, chief degen of the exchange because I'm in charge of most of the listings and therefore I have to keep a very like close eye on what's going on and making sure we can adapt and like pivot to whatever the market throws at us. But Redstone's are very much. It might not be as sexy as some of the other stuff on the market, but it's super important. As you say, like you guys are supporting a bunch of the biggest like DeFi protocols, so you guys are absolutely killing it. I'll definitely keep an eye out for TG and speak to you more about that. maybe we just close off with yeah, any closing thoughts you have, anything you want to say, advice to people in the market right now?
Well, I think the single advice would be, if you're interested in this market, I assume you are if you're listening to this, just never leave, never look off, right? In 2021, or was it like beginning of 2022, I lost it all, and I never even thought about leaving this market, because this is the single industry where the most opportunities are, and there will be in the at least next few years. So what you have to do is stick to this industry forever, have conviction in yourself, and maybe work hard, or at least harder than most people. And I'm sure you're gonna be all right, especially money-wise or financial-wise.
You just got to keep clicking.
Yeah, you just gotta keep clicking, and eventually this market will reward you. So that's super straightforward and super simple.
Yeah, even myself, like I kind of got very lightly in back in like 2015 when I was, making some money on some CS:GO stuff like back in the day, and like was like exiting a lot of it through like crypto. It was a good off ramp at the time. Really kind of got deep and like stuck in and just down the rabbit hole, learning, absorbing like all the information I could, made all the traditional mistakes and also had the traditional wins along the journey. And then yeah, from like 2021 just went like all in, key meeting people, networking, trying everything. And now here we are today, building a pretty awesome exchange.
I like you mentioned the networking part, right? So I think it's also important part. Like, go meet your people. Investing is a team sport. Once we founded Vistula, this is like a Telegram chat, but we also call ourselves a fund or whatever. But it's just like a bunch of retardios that trade together. Once we set up the chat and started bumping thoughts with each other, there are a couple of amazing traders there, and everyone is different. Like, one is much more risk aware, I'm much more fucking degen side. The third one is like medium. So the fact that you can bump your thoughts with them, that I can like also work on risk assessment and stuff together, it's been so helpful this year, and it allowed me to catch so much more things. So I think like the thing you mentioned, like going and meeting people also in real life, is super helpful and very underrated probably, because all these hedge funds, right, they have people sitting in the one room and bumping thoughts with each other. We degens, we are like alone in the room, sitting in our house or whatever, but we can also have similar feeling, or at least similar option, by just having proper chats and proper friends along that you trade with.
Yeah, I completely agree. It seems to be like one of the most common trends I see people speaking about these days. It's just like you can do so much more as a group, and I think you're seeing that even more in the trenches now, because like by nature, doing it alone is going to be very hard. And so like people, it just reminds me so much of like gaming back in the day, where people just like sit in like Discord calls or Telegram calls with each other, a group of guys just like watching everything on the market, sharing ideas, sharing thoughts, and like even being able to be like in an office here with a bunch of like super smart guys definitely has been like one of the reasons I was able to grow so fast in this space. I just, you can of course make it without doing it. Don't get me wrong. There are some outliers, some insane guys who are super impressive and have done a bunch of stuff on their own, but you're just always going to go further with other people.
Yeah, but I think even those guys that do it on their own usually have like the set of chats and set of people they bump their thoughts with. So that's the thing. Like, it's just my take that it's a team sport, what we're doing.
Crypto is a team sport.
Yeah.
That's the caption. Awesome. Okay, well, I guess we'll leave it there. I think this will probably be super useful to some people. Super interesting. You have a honestly absolutely fucking insane story. So absolute pleasure to have you on and chat about all things crypto.
Thank you, Nico. And thank you for inviting me.